right, y'all. Welcome back to the podcast. Hope you all are doing fantastic. And this is the episode where I am going to be going over, or rather analyzing 12 months worth of body recomposition, if that's the way you want to put it. So basically, I'm going to give you my stats for the last 12 months on how I've been doing with weight loss, muscle gain, that nasty visceral fat that I've talked about before on previous episodes, and kind of give you an outlook on how I did in 2025 and where my mindset is heading into 2026. And I have 4 different points that I want to share with you. Number 1 is how I've done all this. Number 2 is my actual in-body scores and breakdowns. The third one is, I've titled this point, How I Reward Myself, and we'll get into that later. And then the fourth thing is, I want to leave you with a tip. And then the last thing we're going to go over is the next episodes that you could expect after this one that are going to drop in January on Saturdays as well. So, let's get back to my very first point. How have I done this? So basically, what I do is my gym has an in-body scale. It actually looks like a scale. It has these little arm things on it, and it gives you an entire body composition when you get on this scale. So the way I do it is I get on the scale the first Saturday of every month. So whatever that ends up being, whatever date that is, the very first Saturday of the month is when I get on the in-body composition. And I also get on my own scale at home throughout the month, kind of just as a checkpoint to keep me on check. Where am I at? What's happening? What's going on? Do I need to make adjustments? But the main machine once a month. So back in January of 2024, actually January 1st, 2024, I basically decided I was overweight. I was tired of how I looked, how I felt, and decided I was going to make an overall health change in my life. That started January 2024. I made an episode about that titled Seeking to Do More in 2024, if you want to go back and listen to that. But to summarize 2024, that was really a year of learning and adapting, learning my new way I was going to operate as far as going to the gym, as far as hiking, working out, eating, nutrition. I was just learning. And I'm still learning in 2025. But if I wrap up 2025, these past 12 months has been daily consistency, daily discipline, and daily nutrition. And the way I've navigated that, I've been working out with a trainer 2 days a week, lifting weights, kettlebells. One of the main things I do that I think has really helped my body overall is balance and mobility and utilizing food as fuel. And that has really been my mindset this year. And on Saturdays, I take a class. It's called the High Lie class, which is high intensity, low impact. We do a lot of mobility, a lot of stretching, a lot of kettlebell activities. You could use weights if you want to. I choose to use kettlebells because I'm trying to get good with better with kettlebells. So that is really over the past 2 years how I've shifted my mindset. That's the number one thing. How I've controlled my food, how I look at food. It's fuel for my body because my body, it's a temple, it's a vessel, and I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. So here is the number one thing that helped me in 2025 is something that's called your basal metabolic rate. So in 2025, addition to consistency, discipline, the nutrition, I really learned and capitalized on the basal metabolic rate, which is a number that the in-body machine spits out to you every time you get on the scale. And what the basal metabolic rate, first of all, my basal metabolic rate is 1,475 calories. So I looked up a good old Google definition of what a BMR is. It is the energy or calories your body uses for essential life sustaining activities when completely at rest, even when sleeping. The function of the BMR, it powers your heart, your lungs, your brain, your temperature regulation, and cell production. And the components of those total calories, of my 1,475 calories, accounts for the largest portion, 60 to 70% of your total daily energy expenditure, with physical activity and food digestion making up the rest. So let that sink in. My BMR is 1,475 calories. I really had no idea in 2024, like my base calorie rate. I just did a food shift and a nutrition shift and started working out a little bit better. And that helped me drop weight. But this year, I have been revolving everything around my BMR. So if you think about that, for me on a daily basis, if I'm just living the minimum calories I need just to stay steady. So if I'm burning on an average 1,475 and I eat 1,475 calories a day, I'm at a zero. So I'm burning 1475, I'm eating 1475, I'm back at zero. So in order to lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit. Think about that. So for me, if I never exercise, if I never do anything, I need to be lower than 1,475 calories because calories in and calories out. That's just the way it works. So I have really started managing my intake, my macros, my protein, my carbs, my fats based around 1,475 calories. So let all that sink in. If you don't know your basic metabolic rate, how do you know how many calories, number one, you need to sustain your everyday life? And then number two, to lose weight or gain weight if that's what you need to do. So think about all that. So that covers my first point. How have I done this? 2024, learning and adapting 2025, really basing everything around that BMR. Okay, so point number two, here are the stats. So this is my in-body breakdown for the past 12 months, all of 2025. And these numbers are crazy. I'm very happy with these numbers. So my visceral fat level, if you guys remember, I talked about visceral fat. That's all that fat that's around your organs. So I started 12 months ago at 17, which was rated very high. You have too much visceral fat. Now I'm at a 12. So as of the end of this year, I am at a 12, which is considered mid range. Yay, kudos, clapping for that. I am very happy about that. My total in body score, so I started at a 62. I was a D. And last year I said, I'm not a D anything. So I had to improve and get to where I am changing that overall in body score. And now I'm at a 74. So I'm almost at a mid C. So I went from a D almost to a F. Now I'm to a mid C. I'm average. Well, I don't want to be average either. So I'm going to keep going. So if you look at actual scale weight, so if I just stood on the scale and didn't know anything else about my muscle makeup, my fat makeup, this year, over the last 12 months, I've lost 11.1 pounds. That's just scale weight. If you really don't know your overall body composition, you don't know the next numbers I'm getting ready to give you. So 11.1 pounds, I'll take it. That's just if I went and stood on the scale. But here are some outstanding numbers. So I have gained over 5.3 pounds of muscle mass. So this past year, I gained over 5.3 pounds of muscle mass. In addition to, this is the greatest number of all time, the body fat loss. This is why my visceral fat number went down. So my body fat composition, and this is very specifically, this is around my trunk or the center of my body. I have lost 19.9 pounds of body fat, of fat around my organs. That is outstanding. So that's the number I'm going on, not the scale weight, the body fat. Because really what I'm trying to do is get to as close to as I can a perfect body fat percentage for an athlete in their 50s. Yes, I consider myself an athlete. I like to work out. And I'm a hiker. I like to do long distance hiking. So I want to be in that athlete category. I want to walk down the halls at school and I want students to go, dang, don't mess with Miss Gayhart. She is fit and ready. So that's kind of where my mindset is. So body fat loss, 19.9 freaking pounds, people. So my BMI went down 3%. My percent of body fat, I'm down 9%. And my body fat to go, this is another number. So the body fat loss last year, 12 months, 19.9 pounds. So the InBody gives you a number of how much more body fat loss you need to do. And I need to lose 21.6 more pounds of body fat. So I think I can do that this year. If I really dial in, if I really buckle down, tight on nutrition, I think I can do it. So people always ask me, well, how much do you want to weigh on the scale? Or how many pounds have you lost? And that means just looking at the scale. So where I'm going to end up on the scale, I don't know. I guess January 2027, we will reveal that number and we will reveal if I'm down the 21.6 pounds in body fat. So we got a whole other year to go for that. So I've been sharing this. This is just a little side story. I've been sharing this journey with different people, and people always say, wow, that takes a long time, or I don't have that much time. I need to lose weight tomorrow. And my answer to that is all you have is time. We don't know when we're going to die. So all you have is time. If it takes you 5 years, so what? Me, I'm on my 3rd year and I'm glad I started 2 years ago because that would have been time wasted is the way I look at it. So to round out point number 2, people always want to know, what is that scale number? How many pounds have you actually lost on the scale? So from January 1st, 2024 until January 1st, 2026, I am down 37 pounds. But I don't even know my numbers from 2024 really because I never got on the InBody. I wasn't going to this particular gym. So I only have my numbers from this past year. So that 37 pounds does not include the muscle I've gained, the fat loss, the actual visceral fat loss that I had in my body. So if you want to know a scale weight, it's 37 pounds down from January 1st, 2024. But the analysis is way deeper than that. So point number 1 done, point number 2 done. Now on to point number 3, how I reward myself. So in the past, prior to 2024, I would reward myself with cake, chips, cookies, all the things. And this year, I rewarded myself with a total clean out of my closet. I decided there is no going back. I'm not keeping any fat clothes. It used to be like, oh, here's fat clothes from this year, medium clothes, and then skinny clothes. No, it is only clothes that Julie wears, period. That's it. So got rid of all the fat clothes. I don't even call them fat clothes anymore. So did a total closet revamp. And I am down to almost 3 sizes in my jeans, and I am down like a full size. So from a large to a medium. depending on the clothes and the fit of the shirt and all that stuff. But in my jeans, I'm just going to say I'm down 3 entire pant sizes. I've had to buy new belts, all the things, and I love it. So my closet is just the clothes that I fit in at the time. And my reward is I'm not going back. So if I have a day where, I blow it out and I eat more calories than I should, I get right back on it the next day. And you're going to have those days. There's certain days that I know I'm going to just eat what I want that day, not log it in my calorie app, not do anything. Holidays, my birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever, in the summer, this last summer. I mean, this all includes this past summer when I was hiking every day and pretty much eating what I want and not tracking calories and all the things. I still had this tremendous level of loss because it's 365 days in a year. So if you take out those few days where you had what bodybuilders call a refeed, it's no big deal. You just get back on the horse the next day. So I just don't reward myself with food. I reward myself with new clothes and merch. And that's the way I am looking at it. So I wanted to round out the episode. I know not everybody has access to a gym. Some of you may not even go to a gym. You work out in your garage, your house, whatever. You don't have access to an in-body scale. You're not going to buy an in-body scale for your house. You can go online and get access to a free body calculator, a body composition calculator, and it is called a TDEE calculator. So it stands for Total Daily Energy Expenditure. So a TDEE calculator, you put in your normal things, your weight, your height, your age. It asks you several questions and it will spit out your basal metabolic rate, the minimum calories that you need to survive. And that is where you need to start. And this calculator will even spit out, it'll ask you how active you are. It'll ask you, how many days a week do you work out, all the things. And it will spit out a diet for you. And I put all my numbers in there yesterday when I was looking at this. It's pretty close to what the InBody scale gives me. So you can always do that. I'm going to put the link in the show notes of this episode. And the last thing I want to let you all know is what is coming up next. The very next episode is going to be 4 hacks for staying on track with your macros, which is your calories, your proteins, your carbs, your fats, all the things. The very next episode after that, I'm going to break down my daily macros, exactly what I try to go for my body based on my body composition. And then the final episode of the month is going to be my plan for the 100-mile wilderness, hiking the 100-mile wilderness again this summer, what the plan is, who I'm going to be hiking with, and then that will round out the month of January. I hope this episode has been informative, educational, gives you all a boost if you are wanting to get on the wagon this January so you can have better health, be fit, better nutrition, and have better days on the trail. That is the goal. So I leave you until next week. Thanks for listening. Be safe out there and happy section hiking.